Hello YouTube, and welcome to another video, and welcome to my channel, The Art of Perfumery. Today I bring you a very special review of a fragrance that I like, and I like a lot. This fragrance made my top 10 winter fragrances this year. It's a quite cheap fragrance. Now you find this fragrance at the discounters, but it is a super fragrance now, and I highly recommend you to try at least and see if you like it. It's very easy to please, and I'm talking about Salvatore Ferragamo Uomo Signature, which is a flanker of the original Salvatore Ferragamo Uomo. To be very honest, I prefer this one. I think this one is better, the blend here is better, the performance is excellent. Very nice fragrance, and I quite like both bottles. I quite like both fragrances actually. Let's go now to the notes of Uomo Signature, and then I'm gonna jump right into the review. I'm gonna describe the smell for you. At the top we have pink pepper, Italian mandarin, grapefruit. In the middle we have cinnamon, cardamom, and also cypress. At the base we have tonka bean, we have leather, we have roasted coffee beans. These are the notes of the fragrance. Very interesting notes. I'm gonna apply the fragrance so you can see the distribution, which is very nice mist. Take a look. Wow, it sprays a massive amount of juice. Very nice. I can get the opening from here. Okay, let's test it. Oh boy, very nice opening indeed. The fragrance opens fresh, not overly citrusy, not overly fresh, just fresh with the Italian mandarin, with the grapefruit as well, and also with a touch of pepper. A couple of minutes later, the leather jumps to the surface, and it's very nice when it's happened, because this leather comes sprinkled with some cinnamon, with some cardamom as well. It's a very spicy fragrance, very nice indeed. If you own the original, you can add some vibes of the original, but it's not very like the original. If you own the original, you know this fragrance is super duper synthetic, but it's also highly praised with the community, because even though it's synthetic, it's very nice. It has this tiramisu accord, this sweet accord. In the middle of this tiramisu, you have a hint of coffee as well. The problem is the coffee here is quite synthetic, it's on the synthetic side, and a lot of people can swear they don't get coffee in this fragrance. I do get coffee in this fragrance, but I know that the coffee here is not quite natural. The coffee in this fragrance, on the other hand, is more natural. It is synthetic, but I mean, it's easily recognizable as a note of coffee. When I apply the fragrance, from the moment I apply, I get this coffee, and the coffee is gonna last throughout the entire life of the fragrance. But the coffee in this fragrance is on the soft side. It's not that roasted or burned coffee that you find in the original, nor in Amen or Pure Tonka. The coffee here is the kind of coffee you find in Maison Magella replica coffee break. It's on the creamy side, it's on the soft side, but it is very nice. So the notes on Fragrantica are spot on. I can actually get all the notes listed in this fragrance. Very nice indeed. About 10 minutes later, 10 minutes after the application, the fragrance now is this very soft, very powdery leather. The leather here is definitely not for leather lovers. If you're expecting some like strong leather, as you find in ombre leather, for example, it's not this kind of leather. It's very smooth. It's a tad bit synthetic, but not in a bad way. It's very nice, and the leather here is actually very powdery, because there is a lot of vanilla in this composition. Even though you won't find any vanilla note listed in this composition, but I do get a lot of vanilla. The vanilla here is gonna bring some powderiness to the composition. It's gonna create this leather vanilla accord, which is very nice, because when I smell this fragrance, I don't smell leather. I smell leather with vanilla. It's all like well blended. It's very nice. And this sweet, soft, powdery leather, it's very romantic. It's very nice for close encounters. Imagine this soft, sweet leather with some powder, with some cinnamon, surrounded by a vibe of coffee. It's actually very nice, very good for close encounters, very good if you're going to a nice restaurant, if you're going to the cinema, because the fragrance doesn't jump out of your skin. The fragrance, it leaves you a good track. People will notice you, but you're not gonna bother anyone. Very nice. To my nose, actually, this fragrance has more quality than the original. Even though this is not the most natural smelling fragrance you find around, but it is very nice. And after 30 minutes that you apply the fragrance, you're gonna start remember some other fragrances, because this fragrance is not the most original fragrance in the world. It reminds me of Armani Code Profumo because of the combo leather, tonka. It will remind you of Armani Code Absolute as well, again because the combo tonka and also vanilla as well. But it is very nice. But the difference is it costs you less than half of the other fragrance with great performance as well. This fragrance, when I say sweet, is not as sweet as the original. It is a sweet fragrance, but it's not as sweet. It's not a room filler, so you're not gonna bother anyone. There is absolutely nothing challenging in this fragrance. It's very easy to wear. My wife loves this fragrance. It's perfect, like I said, for close encounter, for restaurants, for cinema, for indoor kind of things. Absolutely perfect. Even if you're going in a night out, if you're going to the club, like you just apply more. You actually over apply these, and when you're sweating, people are gonna get this fragrance. It's very nice. If you like this semi-sweet leather, vanilla, sprinkled with some spices, surrounded by a coffee vibe, if that sounds good, this is the fragrance for you. And I'm wearing this fragrance a lot later. Like I said, it made my winter list. It's very nice. I actually love this fragrance. If you like fragrances like Armani Code Profumo, Armani Code Absolute, or even Valentino Uomo, you're gonna love this fragrance, because this is the same vibe. It has the same vibe of the other fragrance. The difference, like I said, if you consider the price, is actually a no-brainer. Very nice. And the fragrance keeps going like this, with this soft powder, vanilla leather, cinnamon, surrounded by coffee, and finally ends its life now way more powdery, way more subtle, sweetened by this tonka bean. Absolutely very lovely. Like I said, it's a good trip, this fragrance. Okay, now we're gonna go to the ratings, and you're gonna know a bit more how to wear, when to wear, for what occasions. Let's go to the ratings now. We are now down to the ratings with Salvatore Ferragamo Uomo signature. We start with the presentation. I quite like the presentation, even though I know a lot of people don't like it, but I think this bottle is very nice. It looks very good on my display. It's very well built. The spray, the quality of the sprayer is excellent. I'm gonna give it an 8.5 out of 10 for the presentation. We go now for the weather versatility. What is the best weather for this fragrance? You can get away with this fragrance all year long, but it shines autumn and fall. Even though if it's not a very hot summer day, you can get away with it with just a few sprays. Definitely summer nights, spring nights, you get away with it. Very nice for this weather, but it shines autumn and fall. You can actually overspray. It's not gonna bother anyone. We go now for occasions. What is the best occasion for this fragrance? I actually have better fragrances for a very formal occasion. If you're gonna wear suit and tie or smoking, I wouldn't wear this. But if you only have this fragrance, you get away with it because it has this leather note that would work in these situations as well. But this thing shines for close encounters, or if you're gonna go out indoors for restaurant, cinema. Perfect signature, very nice. Even if you're going to the club, if you overspray, as your body heats up, you're gonna release more of this smell. So just overspray if you go to the club, and you'll be sorted, you'll be fine. We go now for performance. How does this thing perform? It performs actually very well, especially considering the price of this fragrance. It projects for 2 hours on my skin, and it stays on my skin for 8 to 9 hours. I'd say 9 hours performance is not too bad. People are definitely gonna get the smell on you, because it leaves a good scent trail, even though it doesn't jump out of your skin, but the trail is very nice. And finally, smell. I'm gonna give this an 8.5 out of 10, because this is very good, like I said, especially considering the price. So it scores very well, 8.5. Okay guys, I'm gonna leave it as it is. Now, if you like the review, please don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to leave your like, don't cost you anything. And don't forget that I'm Mark Lacerda, and I see you in the next video. Bye.